What's up, everyone? Tally with Durfall, bringing you another cEDH. I guess we can call it podcast now.
Discussion.
What do you guys think? Let us know. Discussion, podcast, whatever the hell. But it is going to be all fun and games from here on out, and with special guests such as cousin 2J's. Yeah, he's been playing with us.
Up, y'all?
You know that beautiful Canadian face. All right. Today, the three of us are going to be discussing Game Changers, the new list that came out a week ago from Wizards of the Coast about a couple decks, or not decks, cards that are kind of broken, that shouldn't be seen play 1, 2, or bracket 1, 2, 3, but maybe 4, definitely 5. So let's get started.
So, I know for me, my opinions on Game Changers is this feels more like a soft ban list, because you really should not be seeing these cards in lower power tiers. I think we all can universally agree on that aspect. It does kind of, it feels like, to me, just my opinion, it does feel like it kind of takes its ideas from Banned as Commander. So I really think that's something that could potentially see some play with this as well. But then there's definitely some standouts here on the list, and we were discussing about them pre-video, pre-recording. But just a couple that I wanted to bring up is like Turgid, God of Fright. I've never seen it at a cEDH table at all, at least not one that takes itself seriously. But at the same time, I can also understand why, is because in a casual gameplay, it really is the God of Fright, because it's resource denial. We were talking about this. Jinja Tax's Korogger, same thing. It's all resource denial, which makes games not very fun at a casual level. But it is something that cEDH and higher power players are used to dealing with, because we actually run interaction and try and do things other than just simply win the game. So definitely want to kind of explore a little bit some of the ideas behind some of the other cards. So
yeah, like what are you saying? Like with Jake Attacks is what you're saying is like, you know, there's barely like maybe a handful of Kennen players that still plays Jin. Like I used to play Jin in my Kennen deck until the Kennen Discord said, nah, like play Nezi instead. And for those who don't know who Nezi is, Nezahal. And I started playing Nezahal over Jin, and it just feels a lot better because they do bring up a good point with Jin in cEDH. Though it's cool to discard your opponent's hand, like especially a blue player. But you know, let's say that they were after you. You were giving the other two the opportunity now to win, and they were explaining to me, yeah, that's Kingmate. Don't do that. Play Nezahal instead, where you could just keep drawing every single time they play a Mana Rock. Every single time they play a counter, so that way you could draw into a counter. And if they try dealing with Nezahal, you just exile 3 cards, and you... Well, I think it's you blink it, because I think it returns at the end of your turn.
yeah, you effectively you effectively flicker it. Blink is immediate. Flicker is delayed. No, one of them is one of them is delayed. The other one is immediate, and I cannot remember which one. I think Blink is immediate, and no, because Flicker works for Dihada. I don't know. Long story short,
Flicker's immediate, and then Blink is end of turn. I think it was.
At the end of your turn. So
so Nezahal comes back at the end of turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a Blink.
Then another thing to be considered of as well, like going back to Jin for a second, costs 10 mana. Who in their right mind is going to generate 10 mana to cast that thing? Like, it really does make you wonder.
Hashiton and Kennen.
Yeah, in Hashiton, because if you have a way to discard it, then it's only costing you 3, not 10. So yeah, you're kind of cheating a little bit there, but you're cheating within the game rules, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then you get another problematic card like Expropriate.
Yeah, cousin. What do you think about expropriate? Like, I know it seems like I never see it in CDH, but I know you kind of mentioned it before recording. Like, what do you see with that card?
At my last tournament in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, we had a Narset player go to top 4, and I wasn't in the game, but I was next pod, and I heard expropriate being cast 4 times.
Oh, cool. For the sake of clarity, I'm assuming you mean OG Narset Enlightened.
Yes.
Master.
Yes,
okay.
Narset Enlightened Tutor, or whatever her name is, the OG one.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they were able to do it 4 times. I just know I heard it be put on the stack 4 times, and me be too busy in my own game to look over and see what's going on. But yeah, you're gonna see it maybe once. You're gonna see it maybe twice, but it's the super casual games that, like, what does expropriate read? Nobody wants to give their stuff up. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to give them the best thing. Nobody wants to give anybody extra turns. So anytime somebody sees an expropriate come up in casual, most of the time they just scoop. Why are we going to play this out? At best, you're going to have 2 turns. You're going to get some of the best stuff. Like, no, you're good.
Yep. I guess that's a really good thing about casual. Like, you
up,
could just skip. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. In CDH, we don't get that option. We have to either play it through or just scoop. It depends. If you're at your casual local game store playing pickup CDH, you can just scoop, start a new one. Who cares? But if you're in a tournament, you kind of have to let them play it out. Again, you're going to see it maybe once or twice, but something like expropriate, you're going to see once, maybe twice a year. Whereas something like Vorinclex, you're probably not going to see at all. So, I don't know.
What's some hunger? Is that the one with the +1/+1?
No, that's the one where your land's tapped for 2 mana, and when your opponents tap a land, it doesn't untap the next untapped step.
Oh yeah,
it's like resource denial. No, not even Kinnan plays that. We talked about it in Nadu when Nadu was a thing because lands are good, but again, that is 8 mana. So you're not going to be casting Vorinclex in a Nadu. You're not going to be the only way you're going to cast Vorinclex is if you can cheat it in.
Right. So, similar principle to Jin we were talking about.
Yep. Oh no, he left. Oh no.
Fell.
But speaking of Nadu though, you made this point, Durful.
Yeah.
Where I think with these game changers, because here's a thing that we actually announced, and Durful kind of like posted it on our Discord, which by the way, free for all. Come join us.
Come join us. Play in a game or talk to us, whatever.
Come join us. Come follow me. Like that Pokemon creepypasta. Come follow me. You know you want to. Come follow me.
This is why we can't have nice things, Tally.
If you guys know that trauma, comment down below. It's just one of my favorite stories too. But what we were actually talking about, the 3 of us, was because of the game changers. What do you guys think about all the legendary creatures that's on the ban list right now be in the game changers soft ban list to where it's legal in the 99?
I mean, I could see it. There's only 2 commanders that stick out as being problematic, and that's gonna be Grizzlebrand, and then that's gonna be Emrakul. Now, let me explain why. So Grizzlebrand is, I think it's pay 7, draw 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
With something like Shieldred, that could get a little problematic.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you get Shieldred, you're gaining 14 and you're only paying 7 to draw lands, so you're netting life. So I could see that getting a little out of hand. But then with Emrakul, I mean, in the 99, that would make, like, I would think one of the 5-color commanders from the Eldrazi deck all of a sudden is going to, like, rocket up top to be in, like, a 5-color good stuff pile. Because then you could just drop Emrakul and have a full-on protected win. So, but why would you spend 15 mana to do that? Or why would you cheat it out to do that when there's a 1 white you can cast Silence? or 2 white, you can have a Grand Abolisher, right? I just feel like there's way better ways to do what Emrakul does. So even if it was unbanned or put on the Game Changers list and allowed in the 99, I still feel like, kind of like some of these other things we're talking about, like I just don't think it would warp the format in the manner that people think that it would, right?
Yeah,
not like a card like
ban list right now.
Yeah, not like something like Leovold. I think Leovold would be fine in the 99 for cEDH, but not as the command, like just not as the commander. Not having access to that full time is a pain.
Yep, and that's the one thing about Emrakul too. With Emrakul, so what it reads is you cannot counter it. When you cast it, you take an extra turn. But here's the important part. Protection from spells that are 1 or more colors. I think that's what people are afraid of, is the fact that it has protection. But people don't realize it specifies that it's a spell. So you could still target it with activated abilities or triggered abilities. You could still
100%.
do that and get rid of like deal with it.
I mean, that's a lot of Orcish Bowmaster triggers, but I'm here for it, I guess.
Hey, combo with Delny. There you go. Double it.
Hey, yep. Delny does some stuff.
It does.
I think we're just at the point now in cEDH, well, and just Commander in general, that the power level is crept up so high that some of these cards are just actually not even that bad. You look at Primeval Titan, it puts lands into play tapped. How bad is that? Like, we just had Nadu. Like, obviously, they banned Nadu, but it's Primeval Titan is not even that bad. Yes, we will probably find a way to break it in cEDH because we break everything. But from a casual standpoint, you're spending, was it 7 mana to get 2 lands into play tap?
It's like 6 mana, but
6, but yeah.
6 mana, yeah, cool. That's next turn's problem.
Yep. Because I mean, if we look down the list right now, let's look down. Like I got the list in front of me with the creatures. There are some where I'm like, okay, yeah, that should stay banned. Like Braids, for example, Braids Cabal Minion. Keep that shit in there. We don't want anything sacrificed. And if we're gonna go over all creatures, Dockside, keep it banned. It deserved the ban a long time ago. I was surprised it took them this long. Erayo.
I mean, okay. So you might want to read that one because not a lot of people are familiar with the original version of flip cards.
Yeah, it's the original Kamigawa split card where it first becomes Erayo Soratami Ascendant Flying. Whenever the 4th spell of a turn is played, you flip Erayo, and then you counter the first spell played by each opponent each turn. So that I could see still in the ban list. But I could also see it being like, okay, like, technically you can go around it. Because if you do cast the 4th spell and it triggers, someone could immediately go, okay, well, hold on the stack, Boseiju, Erayo's Essence, that turns it into a legendary enchantment.
Yeah.
That's a good way to deal with it. Like, say what Nature's Claim, because it has to be the first spell played by someone. So let's say someone already played a spell and Erayo flips and you cast Nature's Claim. You could deal with it with that too, without it being countered. So I mean, I think with that one is an example. Golos did nothing wrong. Like everyone who hates on Golos, like seriously, go away. He did nothing wrong. Grizzlebrand, you do at the point. If it wasn't for Shieldred the Apocalypse, I think it could have come back. But because of Shieldred the Apocalypse, it should stay. Hole Breacher, people say like it deserves an unban, which I see why, because you got shit like Notion Thief, you got shit like Narset.
I'm gonna say it like this: it's gonna become a balancing act, because if you keep Dockside banned, I feel like you should keep Hole Breacher banned as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're kind of in the same vein.
There's something to be said that Hall Breacher is actually worse in the meta that we have now than bringing Dockside back. Look at all the draw triggers. Look at all the Ristics and Mystics running rampant. Yes, that might break it a little bit. Like, oh, that guy's got a Ristic, that guy's got a Mystic. and I got a Hull Breacher, but now you're running away with the game, so it doesn't actually fix the problem. So yeah, I agree. Definitely keep Dockside banned and the Hull Breacher banned because they are basically the same. They're the same entity, in my opinion.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But then Leovold just does straight up card denial. But that's why I say him in the 99 isn't near as bad, because he's got color restrictions.
Yep.
Versus Dockside was in every deck that ran red. Hull Breacher was in every deck that ran blue. If you played Joyra, you loved life. Like that's essentially how that worked.
Oh, yeah. You love them wheels. Like Riel will be broken with Hull Breacher. Like I think everyone will be playing Riel as their Izzet commander if Hull Breacher comes out. But that's just say. But next Iona. The one that your colors get shut down on ETB. I think in today's cEDH, given like the most popular like 4-color, black and blue being equal when it comes to strength, at that point people will be like, okay, what do I choose? Do I choose the counters or do I choose the tutors? And if you don't choose black, then you got ways to deal with it with Deadly Rollick. If you don't choose blue, then you got ways with like Chain of Vapor. And ain't no one gonna choose like fucking red, green, or white.
Now here's my thing with Iona. I get it in casual. Again, Tom, we're looking at it like, could it go on Game Changers? I would say yes. Because really in the cEDH meta, the only thing that's gonna be ultimately affected and hosed by an Iona might be a Magda.
Yeah.
Maybe Urza or Orvar, but those are a lot less prevalent these days. So those monocolor decks, where monocolor decks are a lot more popular in the casual lower levels, Iona definitely would, I could see it being anti-casual, but at a level 4 or bracket 4 or bracket 5, there are ways to deal with it.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things that you just have a discussion on, and I think Wizard of the Coast actually did a good job with these brackets, like being able to prevent these like new discussions, being like, hey, like you do casual with bracket 4, but be on the lookout. You call your deck a bracket 4, then someone's gonna bust out like a really close cEDH deck against you, and you cannot complain. You complain about infinite combos, you complain about mass land destruction, then your ass is to get away from bracket 4 and get your ass back down to bracket 3. That's how WotC is seeing it now with the new brackets. Like, so it's one of those things where, hey, we are warning you. This is how people are going to play with these brackets. If you decide to say that your deck is a bracket 4, don't be surprised if someone Armageddon's your ass. Don't cry, because you are sitting in that pot.
Right.
Now, you did mention Leovold, which was next. Lutri.
Free Luturi until
Lutri. Yep.
Just free Luturi. He did nothing wrong. Honor life. But yeah, he's broken as a companion. Understandable. Free him in the 99. His combo aspect is a lot harder to do. It's just going to be mostly value that might end up winning the game. But cEDH is like that. So,
and we were discussing
from Dual Caster Mage.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is we were discussing it earlier, and it doesn't really combo with anything. All it does is give you one copy spell, because you can't do it with dual caster lines, because Lutri is legendary, and it does specify that you have to cast Lutri in order to get the copy effect. So yes, I agree, having it as a companion totally is going to hose somebody with a double tutor somewhere along the way. But in the 99, you have to run the gauntlet of actually drawing it and then being able to do something worthwhile and useful with it. Which the only type of decks that are going to want to do that are either going to involve black or green along with red and blue.
Rock
and
Thrash
as a reminder, Rock Thrash. Yep. And as a reminder for the folks at home, when we are talking about these creatures, we're talking about them as assuming that they will be available in the 99, not as a commander or, in Lutri's case, a companion.
Right.
So we still agree that the legendary creatures should be banned as commanders, because that's first, like, the next creature that's coming up on a list is a prime example, being very broken as a commander, but not as bad as the 99. So make sure that you guys do still have that mindset. That's what we're talking about. And staying in the game changer list. So assuming that it's only going to show play or see play in bracket 4 and cEDH. But moving on, the next point that I was going to bring up was Nadu. And you guys know I'm a Nadu hater. But with Nadu in the 99, it's not that bad compared to Nadu in the command zone, where it's available at all times. Because with Nadu in the 99, yes, you could tutor it. You know, like you mentioned, cousin, before, the Revy will see a lot of play, so you can tutor it with stuff like, because it's a 3/4, right?
Yeah, it's a 3/4.
So it cannot be Recruit of the Guard, but you could tutor it with Quarter Collie, Finale, stuff like that. But I mean, if the minute you say X equals 3 in a Derevi and Lutri, or not Lutri, but Nadu is available, you should counter it. If X is 3 and Nadu is free, counter it. Don't wait. But with Black, you do have the Vampire Tutor, Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, stuff like that. So you can do that. And, even with cEDH players, we still kind of contemplate whether should we counter the tutor or should we counter the spell they're looking for with the tutor. So it's still kind of a thing where you're like, I don't know. A lot of times I'm on the side of tutoring what they're tutoring or countering what they're tutoring for, because if you counter the tutor, the card that they're looking for is still available. And who's to say that card they're looking for, which it happens with us a lot, is on the top. Is your next draw.
Right.
Yep. It's like, oh, right, well, I should have saved that counter for that thing. But you didn't. You decided to counter the tutor, which, I mean, I won't give people shit for it, because even I'll be in that, I don't know. But look at me when I say this, people. Don't try to politic me, because I'm not going to fucking listen to you.
You don't.
These two know I won't listen to you. Hell no. You try politic with me, I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to do what I want to do. Fuck you. But you got prime time. Not that big of a deal.
It's really not. It's really not.
No. Free to prime. Profit Accrufix. Kind of weird thing about Profit Accrufix here. When the last time I went to the cEDH group in Facebook, people were actually arguing that thing will be broken in Kennen, which I'm like, okay, well, I could see it, because you could tap. Yeah, you could tap the lands, you could tap the dorks. But let's say you are running Kennen and the only thing you have are mana rocks. The fuck is Profit gonna do? Nothing. You can't even cheat it up, because what cousin just said, it's a human. So you can't Kennen it out. Seaborn Muse is still the better option. I really don't understand why people think Profit Accrufix is such a big deal when it only gives creatures flash.
That just falls back into the casual mindset of it all.
Yeah.
Oh, they're untapping all their creatures and all their lands, and they can at any point cast a big bomb creature that we know is coming at any point throughout the game. So, looking at it from a cEDH standpoint, what decks are actually going to run it? I won't run it in Rogtrast. It costs 5 and it doesn't untap all my rocks. However, there is a possibility that I do run it, because I'm slowly going down on mana rocks and up on land stuff, creature stuff. So maybe, I don't think Profit Accrufix, just from reading it, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Put it on the Game Changer list and see what happens. As it stands, Seaborn Muse is way worse than this, and it costs the exact same. Easier to cast.
Yep. And I mean, Game Changer list, like I said, keep it at bracket 4. That's it.
Exactly.
Real Fellows, one of the first to actually be banned as a commander, but allowed it in 99. And when it wasn't that big of a deal. It's only a 2/1.
As I was saying before, we legit have Enduring Vitality that turns everything into a bop.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 green versus 1 mana of any color. I'm sorry, you're gonna go easy on Enduring Vitality because it costs 3, Fellows costs 2. And no, I'm sorry. Like in the 99, that's nothing. You got to find it. You got to cast it. There are several points at which that can be interacted with and stopped and prevented from doing the thing.
Oh yeah, yep. And then you got Sundering Titan, which it destroys basic land types, but it's an 8 cost, so
no one's gonna play that.
Nah, not. I could see like maybe Game Changer, or I would. Sundering Titan might be one of those things where I'm like, if they keep it a ban list, I never saw the point of playing it, so I was like, to me, I'm like, it ain't gonna break my heart.
It's just gonna wreck casual players. That's about it.
Sylvan Primordial. This was like when this got banned when I stopped playing, and when I came back, I saw it, and I'm like, huh. Same with Golos, but I think this one, I mean,
they enter tapped.
It does come in tapped, and I mean, I could see like for each opponent destroy non-creature permanent. But the thing is, like, even casual players know there are permanents out there that they have to deal with that's pesky. If someone has a Sylvan Primordial, then, I mean, try to politic with them, try to destroy what's being pesky. Like, yeah, it's good, like, they're going to target one of your things, but, I mean, let's be real, like, a fucking Soul Ring, like, yeah, like, everyone's going to deal with the Soul Ring. But I could see why this got banned, because the amount of times that you could actually flicker it.
Yeah,
and,
especially in the colors. Yeah, when you're dealing with blue and flicker. Yeah.
It specifically does say forest in it too, so
you
could potentially grab all kinds of forests, but still, they enter tapped. So.
And I think that's all of it. Yeah, that looks like that's all the creatures. So I mean, to the list is not that bad. And I mean, considering like the rest of the ban list, I mean, there are some where I do agree, like it should deserve to still be banned, like Flash.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see the return of Flash Hulk. Hell no. But stuff like Gifts Ungiven, it's just a more expensive intuition. Like I really,
right.
I just don't understand why that's banned and intuition's not. So I think one of those things that if they're considering unbanning cards, consider to either keep Gifts Ungiven banned and maybe ban intuition in the future, or unban Gifts Ungiven given that intuition is still legal and cheaper. Like, there's that.
I really want Channel to come back.
Channel?
Of course you do. Why is that not surprising?
What is that?
Atali would love it.
Oh my god.
Speaking on that, I know we're talking through some of the existing ban cards of what could possibly go on Game Changers. I am still perplexed at they only found 2 red spells to put on the Game Changers list. They only found 3 green.
Yeah.
And they think only 4 multicolor commanders are worthy of being on the Game Changers list.
Whoa. You know what else is not on the Game Changer list? Deflecting SWAT, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I honestly think it's still a work in progress. Like, they probably, whoever made this list, and I mean, I'm not going to bash on whoever made this list, but let's be real, like, I think they know what about cEDH, but they probably don't actually play cEDH.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. But there are so many other things that should be on the Game Changer list. Like Atraxa. Like, I'm just looking at it. My Atraxa. This right here should not be played in casual. Orcish Bowmaster, what you just said, should not be played in casual. Like, that should also be a Game Changers. Like, there's a reason why my decks are only bracket 4 when you look at my Mox field. It's because they're not adding the actual Game Changer. Like, I'm looking at all this right here. And, I mean, I think one of them was, like, Mox...
Winota.
Yeah, Mox Opal. That's not a Game Changer. I understand Mox Amber, just because Mox Amber does have a huge, like...
very big restriction.
Like a really big one.
But it's not,
I mean, you can still kind of argue that it is just because it's still a 0 pip. Like, with Jorah, that's fucking strong, but it's not strong at all. I don't have it in the tracks.
Raw Grab deck turns it on right away.
Yep. Yep. Cannon gets turned on with like I believe
Yep.
you can turn it on turn 1 because you can't cannon turn 1. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
looking at this, I mean, Mana Drain's not on it.
No.
I think Mana Drain does deserve to be in the Game Changers. Like Born Upon a Wind, I don't see that on there. All the fetches, I think the fetches do deserve to be in Game Changers. I mean,
Necropotence isn't on here either.
Necropopo, you know, yep. And
Yep.
that.
They got
Is
Citadel,
Guy's Cradle?
but
Oh yeah, Guy's
Yep.
Cradle, yep. Lotho, I think Lotho can be.
Well, no, because it's
Nah.
Lotho only triggers once.
Okay,
Once.
okay, yeah.
that's why Esper Sentinel isn't on here because it only triggers once, and you can pay the 1.
True.
But
Because,
Winota,
like you said,
Winota sees no play.
yeah. Winota's kind of weird. But Teferi Time Raveler, I think that's another one that could be a game changer just because
Yep.
it restricts you from ever interacting whatsoever. That's why I personally like it. It restricts you, and it could be an infinite mana combo piece.
So
With
what'd
Displacer
you
Kitten and Soul Ring.
what'd you
kitten.
see? Yeah, no kitten.
No kidding. No
Yeah,
kidding.
no
That's a
displacer
game
kitten.
changer and a half.
Yep.
And because we're talking about game changers, in my opinion, they solely missed the #1 biggest red flag in CDH. You've got a ROG deck, I'm gonna burn you with fire. There's no ROG rack on the
Yeah.
game
For-
changer list.
That's
For those
weird,
of you,
yeah.
for those of you who may not be following along with us at home, the reason why I called out red is because the only 2 red cards that are considered game changers right now is Jessica's Will and Underworld Breach.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, well, and
Super
Winota,
weird.
but it's Boros.
I would even put Food Chain in Game
Yep.
Changer. Like,
Mhm.
I get why it's not, just because Food Chain, it requires certain things to happen in order for it to like go off, and it requires certain commanders to be able to work out. But I still think it's a game changer.
Oh no,
Like,
it
they
is.
should-
Oh yeah,
Food chain wins games. We know this.
oh, yeah.
we know this.
Tainted Pack is not on
We
here.
know this. Nope.
Yeah,
Demonic
Taint-
Consultation is not on
Shouldn't
here.
on here. But Thassa's Oracle is.
It is. Yep.
No.
Sensei's not on. When Sensei's the Binding Top is a game changer. Like, everyone knows that. You
Yep.
can't even argue that Soul Ring is a fucking game changer. Everyone keeps complaining about Soul Ring. Might as well add it.
Yeah,
Like, fuck it.
yeah.
But then-
that's mind-boggling too.
But it's the poster child for Commander, guys. Come on. Every Commander deck ever has been printed with a Soul Ring.
That is true. All the channel lands. Like, I'm actually surprised that Otawara and Plasadra are not in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of
Those are
the
good.
channel lands, those 2 are seen in every blue and green CDH deck, and most high power decks that run those colors are running those cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uncounterable interaction. Mwah.
I
Ranger
mean,
Captain, like,
yeah, Ranger Captain is one. Any of those, like Imperial Recruiter, would also, I would argue, be one. But they seem to be downplaying creature tutors because it's like that's a restriction. But you have Mystical Tutor and Enlightened Tutor on here, both of which are restricted tutors.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
like,
oh, yeah, Worldly
I don't.
Tutor's not even on it either.
Yeah, Worldly Tutor isn't on the list at all.
Yeah.
Wheel of
Huh.
Fortune could be on here. Like, they're missing a lot of reserve list cards right here. Which I think, so to our point, and to the folks at home, listen, to our point, I think at the end of the day, this is still a working progress. I think right now, all they did was they just thought on the top of their head, what's a game changer? And just went with it. Just to have the list in front of us now.
I think it is a
And,
little bit more than that. I think it is an avenue of which they can try things and say, okay, how does this do in this environment, right?
Yeah.
We put it on the game changers, let the town go wild with it. We see it's not working or it's creating worse environments. Okay, we ramp it back to banned. That's why I say it really feels like Game Changers is a soft ban list because you're not going to play those cards in casual environments. Bar none, full stop. And if you're playing them in a casual environment, bad things are going to happen to you. I don't know what they are, but that's going to be what happens to you.
If you're playing the Tabernacle in a casual game, you want your friends to hate you.
Yep. If if you're playing Risk, like I am a Risk study lover. Okay, that's actually one of my favorite card of all time in Magic the Gathering. But if you're playing it in a casual game, if you're not calling that shit bracket 4 at least, then
you're lying.
You're lying, and you deserve to be banned from that pod. Like straight up.
Yeah, I tried to build all my casual blue decks without Mystic in it, but then you look at my deck list and you're like, but you have broken stuff like Demonic Tutor and all the free interactions, like, but I don't have the draw engines.
Yeah. I actually don't run any counters to any of my blue casuals. Just to make it fun.
I'm not like that.
Like I'm just like, yeah, like you have fun with it. I'm not gonna play counters. Like, don't look at me for interaction. And I will tell people that too. Whenever they look at me, they're like, "You're playing blue. You're the only blue player. Like, are you gonna do anything?" I'm like, "Don't look at me."
You should at least run. You should at least run vanilla counterspell at a minimum.
Yeah, vanilla.
It's fine. Let them have fun. I just want to draw cards.
My counters are to protect my wins, not to stop other people.
If you actually look at it too, we forget like a couple things, like especially white cards, like Grand Abolisher. That's a good one. Good game changer because it does changes. Daunty Voidwalker's not in here.
Opposition agent by that same
vein. Oppo agent, yep.
No, Oppo is in there. It is there. I apologize.
Yes, there it is.
I apologize. It's there.
Besiege the Mirror. I don't think that's a game changer at all. Gemstone Caverns, is that one of them? No,
it's not on the list.
No. Grim Monolith is on the list, but not Basalt Monolith, which is kind of weird. Basalt Monolith is the one that you could combo easily with Kennen. Grim Monolith, you need Nyx Bloom Ancient just to combo with Kennen.
True, and I guess Basalt Monolith also does have a couple other backup lines. But I guess you could arguably do the same thing with Grim Monolith with the rings and with Zerda, the wolf. So
I think so.
Zerda.
Yeah, Zerda. I agree. Definitely missed out on that, but especially because Kinnen's here. But you got Kennen on the thing, so. But if they put every combo piece a combo with a creature on here, the list would be huge. So.
Yeah.
I just think, like, kind of like what Durful said, I think what should happen with the Game Changers is this should kind of like announce that right now what you are playing is equivalent to a cEDH deck. Because that's what Bracket 4 really is. Bracket 4 is like, it's strong casual, but not quite cEDH. Which I'm gonna like tell y'all a story what I found on Facebook, which I saw that was full of fucking shit. Was there was one guy who said, or I'm not sure it was a guy, but one thing that they said was they decided to bring a Corvold in the bracket 4 because they said after the recent bans, Corvold was dead in cEDH, and yet they still won turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah,
I'm like, to me, I'm like, that just means they didn't want to play with the cEDH players. That's it.
They wanted to win.
Yeah,
they wanted to win.
They wanted to curve
losing.
Yeah, you want to go down to your LGS. You want to go down to your LGS. You want to pub stomp. I mean, we're not here to tell you not to do that. We recommend you don't do that, but we can't tell you what to do. But just know that you're going to end up having a bad time. There's a reason why people are not going to invite you to play at their table. Just saying.
Yep. I think
I won't even play a Tolly. I won't even play a Tolly outside of cEDH simply because of how fast it is.
You turned 2 to us before, so yeah, it's fast.
It's one of those things where it's like arguably looking like even before the bracket update, I put a Tolly through Commander Salt, and it said it was a medium 7, so like 7.5, 6-ish, something like that on its little scale. And it translated into a bracket 5. Cool. I knew that to be a fact, but people were saying, well, with the ban, does that mean Atali's not cEDH anymore? It's more high powered. I said, well, I still wouldn't do that. Atali's kind of broken.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's one of those things where people need to. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's not on here. No, he's not on here. But it's one of those things that people need to like kind of like figure out. Like that's. And I'm sorry to say this, and I'm sorry if it offends people at home, but it's almost like a fact that a lot of modern players or any other Eternal format players go through, like at least a couple times a month or whatever. If you're a good player you will be able to work around the bans.
Yep.
How many times last year have we seen cards get banned in Modern? And
All
yet
the time.
people turn around and go, okay, well, instead, like, I'll complain because I just spent X amount of money on the playset, which is totally understandable. But instead of like doling on it, instead of like kind of like just like kind of constantly bitching about it, they pick up what the next best thing is, which I think at that point after the one word was energy. Of course, energy got banned as well, but you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the next big thing was like something else, and then something else, and something else. It's one of those things that you just players just separating like on these moments. It's separating the good players in. I mean, if I can be honest, I would say lazy players because
Yeah.
they're so used to all these different cards such as Mana Crypt, Joe Lotus, Dockside, Hole Breacher, stuff like that. Instead of complaining, instead of complaining about it, maybe you guys should,
Try other cards.
try other cards,
Yeah.
try the win cons. There are other
There's
win cons,
thousands
especially
of
those
cards.
colors. Yeah.
Thousands of cards. Don't get locked behind a certain play style. Branch out. I've got like 80 CDH decks that I play around with. There's always room to grow.
Cool. Yeah, it's simple. Like, just do your research before, like, and I get it. Like the first few days, yes, you could like vent, you could sulk, you could complain, because that's what I did the first few days. But after 3 days, that's when I was like, okay, cool. I took some time, take them out, see what works now, and that's when I found Kennen. That's when I found like other ways to build around Atraxa, which I mean, hell, Durful saw that I could still turn 3 a 7 cost commander. Like, it's still possible. Tivit.
Yep. The band's kneecapped my Dino so hard, but here we are. Dino's still doing things, and since the ban, Atali's won an SCG con. I'm consistently turning out turn 2s, turn 3s, turn 4s, being a consistent threat with a 7-drop commander. So it's, yes, I cried. They killed my bird. I got Kennen back up and running. I got Atali back to where I want it. Nothing's changed for me. I'm still enjoying the game. I'm still having fun.
Yep. Jordan was like that too. I saw Jordan. When that get hit, like, Durful knows that got hit hard.
Malcolm Vile's still going strong for me. All these decks that died in the ban are still going.
Yeah, I have some decks that I was gearing up to build before the bans, and then I've kind of just monitored and kept an eye on them. Like, I still had interest in building them, and now I see that it's like they're going, some of them are even going harder into the strategies. Some of them are pushing it to try and be the best it can be. Okay, I don't have these 3 cards. Okay, that's 3 cuts that I was trying to find room for this card here, or trying to do something else over here. Like, oh, you just made my job easier for me because you banned the cards and you freed up slots so I can actually try something new. And that's always been my concern when you have someone come out and pilot a deck to top 4 consistently, and you're just like, oh, that deck's solved. It's like, well, wait, hold on. No, it's not. There's a reason why, decks are representations of their pilots, is because what works for me might not work for Tally, might not work for you, cuz might not work for anybody else, right? Like, not everybody can just pick up a pile of Esper cards and call it a deck, or pick up a pile of Gruul cards or Izzet cards and call it a deck. That is not how it works. If you don't understand and you can't pilot it effectively, that's on you.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. Exactly. And I mean, everything. I think we kind of covered everything with this. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about the Game Changer list? What do you think they should add? What do you think should be in the Game Changers list that's currently there right now? Let us know in the comment section. But if you did like the video, make sure you like it, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done so. Description box below will have all of our links to our socials, Twitter X, BlueSky, our Discord, which is free for all that fun stuff. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday.
Happy
See ya.
birthday. Bye.
Happy birthday. Bye.